you could keep making more money, but could you handle the stress of making more money? It was $900, 140 to 180 a day. I just got it to a level I was happy with the money, and that was it. We started back in 1996, and I got into it through, I was working for a company that wanted to hire me, H&R Block, doing delivery. But they didn't want to hire me directly, they wanted me to do it on the side. So they hired me as a independent contractor. So then I thought, well, once I did that a while, I decided, well, I could do this on my own and pick up other jobs doing it. And that's how I got into it.
What were you delivering? Like, what was your first delivery?
I was delivering taxes that people had brought in to have H&R Block do their taxes. So I'd be delivering the tax papers back to the company so they could bill for them.
How many deliveries were you doing a week at that time?
Probably every day we would hit about 15 stores, H&R stores, and we'd take them to the main headquarters, and we would do it 7 days a week.
Did you transition into any different deliveries?
Once I started my own business, I advertised, and then I got all types of different deliveries. We got into x-rays for hospitals. We did paperwork for companies. We did work for banks, delivering bank deposits from businesses to the bank so they didn't have to run their daily deposits in. Work for the public libraries, delivering books to nursing homes and things like that.
How did you get those clients?
Through advertisement completely.
Like what kind?
Yellow Pages back then. It was different than it is now, but everything was Yellow Pages. It wasn't online. You put in the phone book, you put your little advertisement in there, and then they would call.
And if you were gonna do it today, what do you think would work?
Online, because people would Google it probably. I would think on some kind of online advertisement.
When you were first doing your H&R Block, how much were you charging a day?
Oh, probably back then, and probably $50 a day back then.
How long did you do the business for?
I did the business from 96 to 2018, so 22 years.
How much were you charging in like the 2018 area or 2015, somewhere in there?
When we were at our fullest time, well, every route was different. I mean, the bank deposits were different than the paperwork. It depended on the mileage and time of the delivery. I mean, some deliveries could take an 8-hour day. Then you had other ones that were a 3-hour day. So it would depend on that.
What was one of your longest deliveries?
We'd do about 250 miles a day with paperwork delivery for a company.
Did you ever go out of state?
Yeah, we would do, with that company, we would do half in state and half in Indiana.
Why not further?
They didn't have any companies further. They ran just out of Michigan and just in Indiana.
What kind of vehicle were you driving?
We drove Ford Escorts, station wagons, little station wagons.
Did you buy that car for delivery?
We buy it just for delivery, yep.
And why?
Good gas mileage, dependable, very dependable.
What kind of certifications or insurances did you have to run your business?
Not really anything with delivery as far as you had to have MDOT licenses through the MDOT to do delivery and special insurances because you're commercial on the road then. So you'd have to have commercial car insurances and then you're MDOT certified for delivery.
Did you have to have something to be able to transport things like money or confidential information?
No, if you did get into medical transport as far as what I did, no. I was just doing x-rays. But if you did medical medicines or even organs or something like that, then you had to have a special license.
Do you know how much you got per x-ray?
It wasn't like that. It was just I did a day's worth every day, the same amount, and hit 2 different hospitals and another facility, and it was just charged by the day.
Did you have the opportunity to do any more stuff in the medical delivery field?
No, I was too busy at the time. No, I didn't look into it, but I'm sure the opportunity probably was there because they do a lot of labs. There's a ton of labs out there. People pick up the specimens and then they take them to a certain place to get them tested. So that's out there now.
Why did you stop doing delivery?
Well, 08 hurt delivery a lot. I mean, I started in, like I said, 96 in my business, but when 08 hit with the crash, the market crash, a lot of times companies, just like say you're doing paperwork, they can have guys that are maybe doing maintenance and they're not busy anymore, or they'll say the janitor or whatever, he picks up those routes and they'll have someone within the company do it. You're one of the first guys they cut just because it's an extra thing kind of you're doing for them. So yeah, 08 kind of hurt the business quite a bit. And then I just had certain routes I kept all the way to 18.
Did you ever have any employees?
Yeah, I had 2 different guys that drove for me, different routes.
And you were driving as well?
I was driving as well, so 3 of us were driving, yeah.
And then were they paid hourly or?
They were just paid hourly.
Part-time or full-time?
No, they were part-time. One guy was close to full-time on the big route that I talked about that was in Indiana, Michigan. He was full-time. But pretty much, 35 hours a week or something. He worked almost 40 some weeks, depending on the weather.
So what was your lowest paying route and what was your highest paying route amount?
The lowest paying route was probably the library books that we would take just on Mondays to nursing homes. That was like just a couple hours in the morning, and it was like $50-some. And then our highest route was probably our paperwork route that ran close to 7 hours a day. And that paid anywhere probably from $140 to $180 a day.
And you were doing that route every single day?
Every day, 5 days a week.
If you were gonna start your delivery service over in 2023, what would you recommend?
I think there's still a need for it. I think it's probably more than what it was even. Companies like to source that stuff out. They don't want to do it within. They like to do a lot of subcontracting now. So I think it's definitely out there. You can still run the business. Advertise heavy. I think you'll get it in word of mouth and get your business. Now, I think there's definitely a need for it.
Would you do local deliveries or like statewide?
Personally, I would do local because I don't want to be gone on the road all the time, and that's why I stay pretty local. Yes, there's opportunities to get into bigger trucks, to get into things and night runs, day runs, morning runs. There's all kinds of things with Amazon now and stuff out there. You can pick up routes. If you want to work, there's work out there in delivery. Just depends what type fits your family needs and your needs.
Did you ever deliver for people outside of like a business?
No, we never did any residential or personal deliveries for people. Nope, we didn't get into that. I think there's a need for that, definitely, but we didn't do any of that. It was all for businesses, and that's how we advertised it.
Which route was maybe more fun than another route?
The only route, the one that we worked on, the paperwork that we delivered for those 15 companies that were in Michigan and Indiana. It was kind of nice because you were in 2 different states in the same day, and you got to see different weather patterns, and you went by the Lake Michigan on the way, and it was just, and you stopped at all these places, and the guys would like to talk. They see you daily, they'd want to talk to you. So as far as fun-wise, that was probably the best route.
What's a benefit of owning your own delivery service?
I don't want to say necessarily the delivery business, but owning your own business, setting your own hours that you want to work. I mean, if you didn't like a route and didn't like the hours, you just don't take that route on. Kind of fitting your own needs to fit your lifestyle. So you can live the lifestyle you want to live. Not in general delivery, but as owning your own business in general.
For delivery, did you have specific time limits that things needed to be delivered by?
Depending on the route. Most of them did have time constraints on them, but there's a couple I had that were kind of within the morning hours or in the afternoon hours, and you kind of fit it in that schedule. Most of them you had to be there a certain time within 15-20 minutes, and it had to be delivered in a certain time by the end of the time of the day so they could process it by that time.
Were you personally, when you were driving, doing multiple business deliveries in a day?
When I was first started, it was me doing them all. So I couldn't take on a route that overlapped another route, but that's how you had to do it to get the business started. As we grew and ended up with 3 people, then they would be scheduled on one route. One guy would have that route every day. He'd understand it, and it'd work better if he stayed on that. He'd get to know the people and all that. I did another route, and then another guy did another route. And I actually did 3 routes, and they each had 1 route, but that's how we did it.
What was your biggest expense?
Your highest expenses are probably your employees, and then it would be your car gas, car insurance, and car payments.
Were you able to write any of the gas or anything off in your taxes?
All that off.
With the employees, how did you know that you needed 1 more? Why didn't you get 5 more? Like what made that decision?
That decision for me, I could have kept adding, but there's a stress level that you want to, it's one of those things. You could keep making more money, but could you handle the stress of making more money, keeping up on the cars? And you get so many cars that you might need a mechanic. I just got it to a level I was happy with the money, and that was it.
What was one of the craziest deliveries that you've done?
Back when we first started the business, we only had a route or 2 going. So we'd pick up stuff on the side, like companies that wanted 1 item delivered for one time, not a weekly delivery. And we had a guy wanting a motor taken from Kalamazoo, Michigan to Tennessee. And it was a big electric motor. So we threw it in the back of a car and ran it down to Tennessee.
Do you remember how much you got for it?
I think it was $900 for the delivery there and back. We had to put a guy in, and a guy deliver it, stay in a hotel, and work his way back the next day.